a recommendation that says only choose to have a 15-year mortgage. So it makes sense when you look at it. If you look at the amortization schedule, like I'm a CPA, so one of the things I do is look at amortization schedules, look at how much interest you're going to be saving compared to a 30-year mortgage. But for most people, they can't afford this type of mortgage. And not because you can't afford, not because they buy a home, you know, they can't afford it because it's of the soaring prices that's happening. So for example, at $400,000, if you have debt, if you're borrowing $400,000 at 7% interest rate on a 15-year mortgage, the monthly payment is $3,595. Most people cannot afford this payment, let alone they can't save the down payment of 20% for this $80,000 to pay down. Now, a $400,000 loan at 7% on a 30-year mortgage, the monthly costly pay amount is $2,661. What I'm trying to say is if you wait 5 to 10 years to save up that 20% down payment and be able to afford the monthly payment on a 15-year mortgage, housing prices is going to go from, for example, I bought my house for $570,000 in 2020. My house today is worth over $1 million. If I wanted to wait to buy my house, I haven't even lived in my house for 3 years, and it's worth almost $1 million. It's worth over $1 million. If I waited to be able to afford that 15-year mortgage, guess what happened? My interest rate is below 3%. Interest rate is now above 7%. My house is worth over $1 million. So if I waited 3 years and I now have the 20% down for a $570,000 house, I cannot afford my $570,000 house because interest rate is a whole 4 point more 3 years later, and my house has almost doubled in price. So you cannot wait with the market the way it is to try to save all this money to get to that point. We're ignoring the opportunity cost here, and that is number 9. Number 9 is the advice that is given to us ignores opportunity cost. What do I mean by this? This is a significant oversight. You cannot ignore opportunity cost. When you do something, right, there is a cost, as you cannot do something else. So if you, for example, are going to spend $500 today on a pair of shoes, that means you are not able to save $500. You spent it. So you're giving up the savings for the pair of shoes. Or let's just say you stay up late tonight. You give up a solid night of sleep. Will have an impact on your day the next day. You're going to be groggy. You're not going to be functioning. You might not be able to achieve all the things you wanted to achieve the next day. So your opportunity is always at a cost. Nothing is for free. If you are getting something today, you're giving up something tomorrow. So my thing is you definitely want to think about that. You know, you should not follow any recommendations without question. You need to always be able to account for what opportunities you're giving up. What are you giving up to get something today? If you decide to wait on buying that house until you are able to be debt-free in 15 years, you are giving up the opportunity of the lower than 3% interest rate that I got, and over $500,000 in equity that the house is now worth. That is stupidity in my book. So this is why I totally do not agree with this one, and I have proven it in my own life. So those are the things that you need to understand. So you should always be looking at what you're doing. You always, should put money towards paying off, your things. So you want to understand, you want to understand what you're doing. 3% mortgage today, you are going to be giving up, the potential of 5 to 8% later. So you have to think about that. If you're going to put $1,000 away today, you know, if you have $1,000 extra and you want to pay off, like if I have $1,000 extra and I want to pay off, lower my mortgage, that I got an extra $1,000. I'm paying 2.9% interest rate on my mortgage. So I am not paying, you cannot get that free money ever again. That's never happening again. No matter, I don't know where it's going to happen in our society, but our society will not be able to sustain if we ever get to that point again. So the $1,000, if I put that down on my mortgage, okay, I'm going to save some interest. I'm going to save 3%. But if I invest that $1,000 right now, between 5 and 8%, a money market account is around 5%. If I put it in mutual funds, it might be around 8%. Who knows? I'm being very conservative here. My money will grow. So investing the money will result, if I do that, let's say, it result in almost $600,000 in the long run instead of paying off my mortgage. And if I put it towards my mortgage, I'm going to save about $80,000. So $600,000 if I invested, $80,000 if I put it in my mortgage. What should I do? So you always have to look at opportunity to cost. My number 10 and final tip about our traditional money habits that we have learned is about retirement withdrawal rate. Sticking to a retirement withdrawal rate suggests that you safely withdraw 8% of your portfolio every year in retirement. Common belief is that it's safe to withdraw 4% from your portfolio, as doing this would result in outliving your money. But what about taking out 8%? If you have $1 million, let's say, and you want to retire at 65, and you take out 8% annually, you will run out of money by 95. While you might not think that you will live that long, who knows? I hear people are living to 120 now, so you never know. So you have to get an understanding of your retirement funds, understand what the rate is that your personality, your lifestyle, your everything needs. Your retirement funds and the rate of how you are able to take money out of your funds, whether it's tax deferred, tax free, or partially taxed, you need to understand that also. And that all of that has an effect on how you're taking money out of your retirement. So there is no one size fit all in this situation. You have to be able to customize this to yourself, because there's no tried and true methods on this in my thing. There's no tried and true method. You just need to understand, have a good solid foundation, and look at your overall situation. So this is Sherron, the Modern Savvy CPA, debunking some of the old traditional myth to learning how to future deal with our money. Thank you so much for tuning in. As always, feel free to give me a follow to get updated on new and upcoming episodes, and listen in every Tuesday and Thursday, where I teach you smart money habits so you can make better money choices with a financial goal focus.